The Kuretake ZIG Wink of Stella brush marker is a marker that will add sparkle to all of your projects and your lettering. It is such a fun marker that it falls into the ZIG memory system because of its archival quality. It is a pigment-based, waterproof ink that will make it so that as you are using it on top of other things, that it will be able to be permanent. So this is the project that we're going to be making, and it will be a fold-up card, and that does a three-dimensional pop-out card. So initially, when you have your Wink of Stella brush, you will open up the end of the packaging, and it will have a black ring on it right here, and that black ring is a separator. So right now the ink has not been introduced to the brush end yet. So what you'll do is you'll unscrew it, and you will take the ring out. Then you will screw it back in, and I like to hold it upright because it's going to actually twist into the end, and you can actually hear it break through so that it is there. Then you will pull it off. So now it has connected into the brush, and it has on the side little push markings, and you never want to start your pen on your project. So I always have a practice sheet out that I can use, but it's also fun to be able to use it as a color palette so that you know what colors are, or color chart. So what you'll do is you need to probably put the cap back on and begin to shake it. And you'll hear that there's a little shaker ball inside of it. And the purpose of that is to mix up the glitter with the pigment ink. And so you'll shake it a few times. And then you'll come out, and where it says push, you'll push on either side of it. And you can see that ink start to come down into the reservoir there. And it's a bit of a patience pen. The very first time that you use it, you want to have it so that it's not, you're not pushing very hard. So if you just begin to push it, and then eventually you'll see it start to come down the nylon tip of it. The nylon tip is a wonderful tip that is just like a brush, and so you can get a perfectly fine tip point on it. You can feel the pressure of the ink coming down. There we go. We can see it starting to come down there a little bit, and you can just push, and as we said, it's a bit of a patience pen, but you'll be so pleased that you've started it. So it's coming down there a little bit. It's just going to be a little bit drier. There we go. And one of the fun things that you can do, just like a paintbrush, is that you can roll it, and when you roll it, it makes it into a perfect tip, pointed tip. So there we have it. And then you want to leave the cap on when it's not in use, so that the tip will be able to stay nice and wet. So that is the way to start a Wink of Stella brush marker. So some of the things that are fun to do with the Wink of Stella brush is that it's fun to do lettering. So we've got here some practicing that you can do of some strokes that will help you to be able to use them. So I've got a red here, and I'm going to shake it up. Then I'm going to just see if it's starting. Oh, it's nice and wet, and it's a beautiful color of red. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start at the writing line and just come up very lightly, because that light stroke will give you a fine line. Now whenever you're coming down, you can push a little bit harder so you can get thin and thick lines. So it's just fun to be able to practice those strokes so that you'll get that. Then here you're getting your curve. So we're going to come up. When we come down, we're going to add a little bit of pressure when we come up, we can actually get such a fine line. It's so fun. So we're going to do some up and downs, and this is just getting our hand and our eye coordination just warmed up. So as we're going to start on a project or things like that. Next we have a C stroke where we're going to push down at the beginning. We're going to get that fine, and when we reach that writing line, we're going to come up and just do a fine curve up. So, and you can always take it and re-roll the tip end with it if you would like, and be able to push and come up. And the great part about it also is that it is, since it's like a paintbrush, you can correct any things that you've done. But we're just warming up here. So here we're going to, remember our upstroke is light, our downstroke is heavier, and so you can get that variety of tip sizes with the Wink of Stella brush. You'll notice that it has this glitter into it, and it's all glittery, and we hope that you can see that. Our L stroke is coming down, and when you reach the writing line, you're just going to come up and make a curve. So that, and again, if I wanted that line a little bit heavier, I can come back and do that again. So the an M stroke comes up, and then you're going, when you come up, it's really fine, come down, it's heavier, come up, it's fine, down, it's heavier. And depending on the type of paper that you are using, you'll be able to get some finer lines and thicker lines. So just want to practice on your papers to make sure that you're getting it that way. So this F stroke is, we're going to start and we're going to reach out, come up and around and down, and again fine. So it's so fun that you can get such a variety of tip sizes with it. An S is coming up, so it's a fine line coming around. We're going to add some pressure and come up and then just finish it off. So the opportunity for lots of different types of lettering styles is wonderful. Here's our L coming up and around, up and around. J, you're going to start a little bit heavy, coming down, there we go, and then we're going to do that fine line coming around. And then you can do a pause and a flick up to make the dot on the J. So it's really fun to be able to do lettering with it that way. So we, for our capital letters, again, you want to shake up your marker. You can hear the little shaker ball in there doing its job of mixing up the glitter and the ink. Then we want to take our practice pad, your practice pad. Let's see, here we go. Here's our, this is going to be our blue, and there you can kind of hopefully see some of that glitter that is in there. It's just wonderful, and it's such a fine glitter that making it so easy to be able to add glitter to any of your projects. So for our A, we're going to start up, and then we're going to come around, up and over. Our B is down, coming around, and so we're just going to do these. And you'll be able to practice the variety of lettering styles that you would like to create with this. But a brush lettering style like this really lends itself to that perfect nylon brush that it has. And I always tease that it takes about 3 or 4 times to use a tool, or in this case it takes 26 to be able to use a tool before you get the hang of it. So don't get discouraged, just say, oh, what can I learn from that, or how am I doing? And so we making a variation of that H there, and so we're going to just quickly go through these letters to be able to see the strokes that you can create with them. Again, it comes in 9 different colors, and one of those being clear. So we'll use that in a minute, and we're going to use that clear glitter to be able to use it on top of other markers. And then it has a white which we'll play with. Well, we'll we'll play with all of the colors that are available of this Wink of Stella brush. So for our Q, it's just like an O, but we're coming through and then going to come down. So just practice and it'll make your lettering styles. You'll get the feel for the Wink of Stella brush. So again, when you're going to come up, your upstrokes are thin, push down and come up. So you can really just get a really fun, and again, as I said, you can come back and correct anything that you would like to. But so on a W, it's fun to come up, make a loop, come down, and then come up and around. And the glitter is just this fine glitter that is in it, and so it will shimmer and shine in any of your projects that you would like to add just that fun enhancement of color along with glitter. So there we have. Let's see if we can get you seeing some of the glitter. We're making quite fine lines. When we do our card project, we'll be able to see them. So again, practicing and even tracing, you can practice the letter forms and their shapes. So as I said, it's always great to have this practice sheet that you're going to start them on. So colors we did use red, so we'll go ahead and give some color there. And then we are going to use, let's see, we did use purple or violet. So you can see why you always want to test it. See how much ink was in that right there? So it's so fun when you do get a puddle like that and you watch it dry, you can actually see the glitter just come and really have a lot of fun with it. So this lettering I did with the Scroll and Brush, which is a archival, light, fast, waterproof, fade-proof, pigment-based ink in it so that you can use it. So I wrote with this, and then there is a clear glitter that you can put on top of any other color that you have. So I have put it on top of the U here, and again, shake it up and put it out. And we'll come over here and we'll start it on our page, our little practice page, so we can make sure that it's wet enough, and if you want to squeeze some more down into it, you can do that also. So then when you're going to go across something that is this wide, you just add more of an angle to your pen. So you're coming and just making contact with all of it and coming back up. So it will add, and it's just like coloring. So you're just coloring on top of it. And the glitter will make your card shimmer and shine, adding sparkle to all of your lettering and such like that. So that is a real fun way to be able to get that glitter and shine to it. We have a fun card that we're going to make today. It is again a pop-up card, and we're going to do some cutting and making it so that it pops up and open. But here you can really see some of the glitter that we've used that are in those pens to make our project that much more fun. So what's going to happen here is there's a few steps that we will take. There's a pattern here. This is a friend, Nano. She taught us about how to do this card. So what you'll need is a scoring tool, which here, this inside of this has a scoring tool, and then the pattern, which we will make available. So we're going to take that, and I'm going to line this up so that it's about centered on my page, and that this dotted line will be on the score. And I'm going to take and I'm just going to push down on each of those dots here. And this will tell us where we will do our cutting. So you can maybe see those dots in there. So that's our guide. Then we're going to take our scissors, and these Kuretake scissors are nice and sharp. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut from the edge, the folded edge, into the card. And because of this tip on these, you can cut right to the edge. So if you line the tip of your scissors up with that dot and then just cut in, and you'll do that all the way down. Just increasing. So that's how you're going to start to get your cuts in it. And then we'll open it up, and then you have all of your lines that are cut there. So this one, I've cut most of them, but I've left a couple here that need to be cut. So again, I'm going to start from the folded edge, and I'm going to cut in. And then on this one, decided that maybe we would have the tree holders pop out also. So we're going to cut that way. Then we opened it up, and green was the first color. So I have started the tree formation here. So again, you want to shake it up. We bring over our practice pad, because again, you do not want to start on on your project. You want to make sure that it's getting flowing nicely, which that one is doing great. You can stack the caps because they will stack on top of that. A lot of times that's you can just stack them up that way. So because again it's a brush, so I can either come out and it's just free form. This is, you know, trees are no two are alike, right? And so, and if it feels like it's a little bit dry, then again we would grab our marker practice page and just make sure that the ink is flowing. That becomes a work of art all in it of itself. We just get to, and I think the slower you go, the more control you have. So if you're wanting to do it a little bit more free form, you would do it faster. If you want to do it controlled, then you can do it out to the sides and pull. Okay, so you would want to continue on and add all of the branches and such like that you would like. And you want to make sure that you don't get your hand in it, and because it will dry, but it takes a few seconds for it to dry. Then the fun thing about them, because of the tip on here, and we'll get our practice page, make sure we've got it going the way we would like it, but you can create all these fun patterns. So here we're just going to make a little bit of a plaid, and so I'm pulling up and just barely touching the edge, the very fine tip of the brush. And it's a nylon brush that is perfect that way. So, and then we can just create a fun pattern on top of it that way. We'll let that dry, and we use, there's a silver. Silver is a fun color. Again, shake it up. And just make sure that if you need to push it a little bit, just to add a little bit more ink down into it. There we go. And we can come on top of other colors. So this is the silver on top of the red, and it just adds just that beautiful glitter edge to it. We'll do some detail work with our black. Then the violet, which again we'll shake up, and we'll start it. Make sure that it's started there. There we go. And if you want to, you can take and go in from the sides and kind of, I wanted a little bit more of a watercolor distressed look to it. So you can come along and just have it be that way. So I'm going to come back with our black and shake it up. You'll hear that little shaker ball. If you don't hear the shaker ball, then you want to keep shaking it because it's obviously caught in some of the ink and glitter. So you want to make sure that you can hear that little shaker ball in there. And again, you would push if it needs to be a little bit wetter and things like that. So we're going to do some detail work over here. So we're just going to make our bow with different pressure, and then we're going to outline. And because it is such a fine marker tip or brush tip, it is just such a fun way to be able to get a variety of tip sizes and such like that. And then we'll just outline. I find that outlining is just, it just adds that detail that is so fun. So again, you can do it really lightly, so almost like you're getting a distressed line on there, and maybe not making contact with everything and having it be a little bit different tip sizes on it. So we'll find our silver again. All right, I'm sure you're in here. Oh, there we go. Here's our clear. We'll use clear. That'll be great to be able to add some glitter over where we didn't have it, and see how you can color on top of each it, and it will just make it all nice and glittery. Then we'll take our silver, we'll shake it up, and we're going to come and just add some silver out to the outside. It's almost like just that little bit of a sparkle. And then let's make sure our silver is going well. We're going to make our bow out of that. Just add some dimension to it, and then you can come through and get that going that way. So then, as we let that dry, we can come around the outside edge, get that, and again add some of the detail work that we're wanting to add to it. So it's a lot of fun that way. Then we will, while we have the black, we'll just go ahead and do some of the detail work that you can add onto it. Just adding some fun things like that. Then we'll take, and we haven't used the gold yet, so we're going to make sure it's nice and shook up and that it's writing well, which it is. Then we can add our star onto our top of our tree, and it glitters and shines so appropriately. Then you can even just do out little detail lines out the outside so that it will be nice that way. So for our lettering, we're going to use the brush marker again, pull it, making sure that the purple is nice and juicy. So we're going to come and we're going to hold our marker a little bit horizontal so that as we pull down, it'll be a thicker line. We may want to do this a little bit slow, and then as we come up, it's going to be a nice fine line on it. So coming around, up, and just inside of it. So fine line down, pushing, and then again, I find that it's so nice to be able to do some detail work. And so we're going to come along the outside edge of the piece. If you want to add little doodle marks, you can. It's almost like putting on eyeliner. It's just a a really fun light stroke that you can use. And these are your shadow lines. Again, always keeping your shadow lines on the same side of each of your pieces of work. So each letter, and so we're doing our shadow line out to the left of this, and it just makes the word pop that much more. So then we could add our detail line or shadow line on our ampersand, which is one of the fun ones you can do. And then take our red and again, make sure that it's flowing. This ends up, like I said, ends up being a work of art all by itself. And you can see here that I've left that almost like an outside brush. So what you want to do when you want to twirl it is you just take it and you spin it in your fingers so that it makes this beautiful pointed tip of that nylon tip that way. So, and you can see all of the glitter in these practice ones. So for love, we're going to again hold it horizontal, coming down we're going to get a thick stroke, and coming over we'll get a thin, and coming up and over. And because you can paint and fix or add detail lines to anything that you might like. We've got that a little bit heavier, and doing those so that it does it that way. Then you can go back and add any of your detail work onto your projects here. Here we're going to just add some berries or bulbs. Remember that the ones that are closest to you are larger, and the ones inside, or those will be a little bit tinier for your perspective that way. So then once you've got that done, what happens is you're going to push out, let's see, I think that one of the things we need to do also, which we'll do right here, is you want to create your score lines down so that it's going to fold. So these are going to be folding lines. So I'm coming between the dots on 1, 3, 5, and then 7. And that's going to allow it to, when you pop it out, it will fold that way. So that's the purpose of those fold lines that you can see there. That's going to happen. I think this one is now dry enough, and you can see that I already added those score lines on there. So I'm going to pop out 1, and then 3, pushing them in and out. A little bit of paper manipulation. There we go. And then when you fold the card in half, it will fold those in. There we go. So the first time folding it is always the trickiest. So those are all popping in. Then we're going to fold the card even more. Just do that gently so that it makes these great fold lines. And it's folding along where we've scored it. So then, I've got that little one down at the base to pop out. So that, but then when you mount it on your card, when it opens up, it will be a pop-out card. As we pull out the 1, 3, 5, and 7, then you can see that they will fold in that way. So I've glued down this one side. When you go to glue down the other side, what you would do is, I'm just going to put some double-sided tape here, and then we'll remove that. And then you will fold your card over so that every time you open it, it will be a great pop-out card. Then the fun thing about one of the other colors that we haven't used yet is the white. And this is a really fun, it's a little bit of a surprise pen in that when you initially use it, you don't think that it's going to show up anywhere. So as we begin to play with this, it will intensify as we go along. So now that I've started that, I always have to make sure that my envelope is opening the right way, because there's been times when we write on the wrong side. So you can see that I'm just pushing down, getting the marker horizontal, so that when you come back this way, it will get a fine line. But again, as you're going to make curves, just pull up almost as the pressure will come down. If you get a lot of ink, then you can just spread it out, and you can do a flick or a circle. And if you feel like it is flowing well, that's wonderful. If you needed to pull it back, again, just make sure that you don't get your hand in it as you've come through it. But you can see here, there we've got quite a bit of glitter there. We can spread that around of that. But you can see how it intensifies as it dries. So we have this one that has been dried for a while, and then this one that is. So it's almost like a surprise that will be fun. So the Wink of Stella brush marker is an incredible marker for adding a bit of glitter and color to any of your fun projects and make them sparkle and shine. That's part of the ZIG memory system by Kuretake.